That's really long enough. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. I always wait like a second or two to make sure it's filming. And then I cut it off when I edit. So, you edit the video? What?
Well, edit is such a strong word in these cases.
Most of the time, I clip a little off the beginning
and a little
off the end. And I put like a little thing like this at the end. And yeah.
Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy.
I saved that for my tips and tricks, which I took a break from this week. Hello. As I settle my sweater in place. Hi. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Oh, good. She always remembers her line.
As long as we do it in the right order.
Yeah, I should flip it someday. It's like doing the alphabet backwards.
No.
I can't do that sober. And it's a good thing I don't drink very much then, because that would be hard. You know? So hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in really foggy Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the Minion there.
Liz is all dressed up today.
It's my 6 days of Halloween.
six whole days. Dude,
only because those are the 3 filming days. I mean, all, you know.
Yeah. How in previous years, how Halloweeny do you get? What do you do?
Like for October, I generally wear
I should know this.
Wear my fanciest, me clothes. Like I'm me. 364 days.
She's always
a year.
her.
I dress, But if I go
she got
to
recognized yesterday. We'll get to that in a second.
If I go to like a store in olden days, and I'm wearing something like this,
don't go to stores.
People are like, "You're dressed up for Halloween," and it's like, no, this is Tuesday. Like it's once I started working here, hanging out at the shop, and had a dedicated group that I hung out with. I wore normal clothes. I wore jeans and a t-shirt
on Halloween.
Yes, and
because that's her Halloween outfit.
That's
how I dress.
Yeah,
that's Halloween for her.
Yeah, and I think one year you wore a dress. And I wore jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah, it wasn't as nice and fancy as your dresses.
No, but it was
the thought that counts. I think I wore jeans under it.
You did.
And cold.
Yeah.
Because I don't have layers like she does. And I have worn dresses in the past. I have worn much fancier clothes than I do at the shop. And then I opened my yarn shop, and I don't have to wear high heels and fancy slacks and things.
I don't wear high heels.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about what I used to wear.
I dress all up and then throw bare feet on underneath of it.
I took a couple of days off to sleep. I don't know if you can tell.
She's all wide awake and happy, and it's morning.
And I expect this to last about 24 hours, but because I only took 2.5 days off. And they weren't really days off, but they were little days off. Little. I'll talk more about that in a minute. What was the reason I was saying this?
Oh, shoes. Dress up.
Oh, yes. Okay. Here's where my mind went. I finally had a chance to binge watch some shows, and I haven't done that in months. And I recently got hooked because I finished Lovejoy, which was my like 90s obsession of British shows I watched with my parents back then. And then I started watching Agatha Raisin, who's much more new and contemporary, but still sleuthy, shows. And oh my gosh, first of all, she wears more spiky stiletto heels. When I talk about heels, I'm talking about chunky, like dress pant heels. But she's always like having to take them off to sneak around, or she takes them off to break windows so she can get in somewhere and solve the case. But shoes are a big part of the show, apparently.
Shoes.
She retires because she's in her like 50s to the countryside, and then she's going around in high heels everywhere. So anyway.
I can't even fit my foot down in like 1 inch.
Oh, I used to wear Well, way back in college, I used to wear like 4 or 5 inch heels, and I'd have Barbie feet by the end of the day.
I don't think I've ever been able to do that.
But in my teaching days, I tried to fit back in one of those pairs of shoes, and oh my God, I almost just tipped over for myself. And then I still would have slight Barbie heels, I call them, because your foot wants to like still be up like this once you take your shoes off at the end of the day. But I was more doing 2 to 3 inch heels when I was a teacher, because you walk differently in heels. Like, and to be a commanding presence when I look young already, and as I proceeded through my teaching career, I was less often mistaken for a student. But when you're mistaken for a student a lot, you tend to, at least I did, try to dress a little more formally and give myself any height advantage I could, because I'm not that tall, you know.
Although she will say she's taller than me.
Well, everything's relative. So, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I spent a lot of time binge watching shows. Tried not to watch too much news, although Sunday morning are my news shows and I have to watch those. And then the only time I left the house yesterday was to vote.
Yep.
We early voting here in North Carolina. Liz and I met up. And disclaimer at the outset, and some of you, if you've been watching us this whole time, have heard some of this before. We really, really strive here at the shop, at Knit Night, everywhere else, to keep politics out of the shop, especially now that politics are like everywhere, because it's election year and more. And so we mentioned that we vote not in a partisan political way, because you've also probably heard that we do not agree politically. And some people are like, how can you exist and disagree politically? We just don't talk about it. Imagine that. I mean, because I feel like that's all anyone's ever, like half the time people come up to the shop, it kind of makes its way into conversation. Mm-hmm. And we do our best to smile and nod, or not engage, or only engage lightly, you know, yep. But, or say, hey, we don't talk politics here if it starts to ramp up. Yeah, we don't.
It's been our habit since I started working here to go vote together.
Yeah, that's the thing. And early voting used to be like a block away. Early voting was at, I don't even remember the name of the building, but it's like a block. We could walk, yep, and vote. And so it doesn't matter that we're not voting for the same stuff, you know, or same, you know, we may not be hitting the same buttons, but the whole civic duty, hey, you know, vote, yay. So we do it together.
And in olden times, we used to make a morning, afternoon, whatever of it. We'd go to lunch and then.
Yeah, and usually it was on our day off. And yesterday was our day off. So
it worked.
Yeah, and so we coordinated when to meet up, because for local people, early voting is at the old Kmart, so it's spaced out. So there's, because the early voting place we used to walk to is, so there's lots of room inside. There were people arriving as we arrived. We went mid-morning thinking it's morning, won't be that busy. And it was busier than I'm used to seeing early voting, but we made it through,
it was
like
fast.
20 minutes.
Yeah. We only stood in line for just a short time.
You can smile and wave at the 2 tents they have set up for either party in the parking lot, and just make your way through. And they have, like, you know, what I like to call the roller coaster ride line thing set up inside. And I explained it all to Brian last night. I won't bore you all with it today, but they have the dots for social distancing. They have lots of hand sanitizer. They have multiple stations to kind of keep you all moving.
And Q-tips to touch the thing.
Yeah, so you don't have to touch the screen. It's a touch screen thing. It's not a like, you know, put your hands down on the counter and fill in the dots that, you know, who knows who else has touched that. So actually it keeps their hand sanitizer, having to sanitize between people, kind of down, because you're not touching as much. I love the Q-tip thing. It was really cool.
Q-tip was awesome.
They had people everywhere to tell you what to do and lead you through it. So it went really smoothly, really smoothly. So there were a lot of people, well, by my estimation, maybe like 20 people in line or something. Mm-hmm. But we made it through in 20 minutes, and it was great. Yep. And so civic duty. I don't care who you support or who you want to vote for. We're just encouraging you to go vote. So, and if you vote early, like there are certain, like my parents can't go vote early because they're in Connecticut and I looked it up last night. It's in the Constitution of Connecticut that there's no early voting. There's absentee maybe, but like you have to amend the Constitution to vote early. So if you're in a place where you can vote early, go do it, because it'll be less crowded, hopefully, and less lines than on election day. And vote all the way down the ballot, as they say, because local politics can sometimes affect you more than the big stuff. Anyway, so we're talking through. Someone's leaving a message right now. We will check that later. But we went and voted. We met. I said to Liz, I'm like, safety in numbers. Although ironically, it's a pandemic and you don't want to be around a lot of people. What
I figured it like, instead of safety in numbers, was I was bringing my bubble with me.
Yeah, we're our own bubble. So we were like, so we went and voted. And yeah, I want to show this off. Isn't this cute? Purple. Yay. It's not blue, it's not red. It's purple. Yay. This is from Neighborhood Fiber Company. We saw one of our knitters in the parking lot who's like, ooh, Neighborhood Fiber Company. She asked if we sell them in our shop, and we don't. I'm going to throw a lot of love to things we don't have in the shop today. But I have a t-shirt and I have this bag, and I got it through pre-orders on their site. I'll try to put their site on the description if you want something like this. I don't know if they're still selling them, but vote with the yarn ball. Don't you love it? And I think I got quasi-recognized because when they talked to you, they were like, oh, Olive Sundragon's here today or something. People recognized her. So shout out to the poll workers who said, hey, it's you in the dresses and I watch your dress. Is that what they said?
Yeah, they watched my dresses on.
Shout out to you. It was really good. Everyone had their faces covered because social distancing and masks, yay. Very good stuff, but it meant it was hard to recognize people. But we saw or heard a couple people we think we knew, which was fun. It's like minor celebrity, yay, we're here. I think they recognize her more than me, but that's okay.
If I want to go incognito, I wear normal clothes.
Yeah, no one ever sees her.
But because it's a pandemic, my jeans don't fit anymore.
See, my stuff kind of fits, I think.
I think it's been a multiple year thing.
Well, but
when you only wear it once a year.
Fun when you can blame it on the pandemic?
Yes, it is. So, yeah. So dresses it is.
I mean, the early months of this, I swear, I probably lost weight, or I imagine I lost weight.
We both did, I think.
Because I wasn't eating. I was stressed and I wasn't eating. And I think I'm eating now. Anyway.
We both don't stress eat, but we boredom eat.
Yeah.
And life has kind of gotten to the point where it's more routine than it was in the beginning.
Yeah. And honestly, if I could get stressed out again by letting more people in the shop, willy-nilly, that would be bad all around. So yeah, my brain was segueing into something else, and then now it's gone. Oh well. Oh, letting more people in the shop. My brain went ooh, because we don't write show notes. So that was public service announcement number 1. Everybody should go vote. I don't care who you're voting for. I want you to go vote. 2 is letting more people in the shop. November. Now I'm expecting, this is why I'm having trouble writing this in emails, because I'm expecting people to ignore this is happening in November and think it's happening now. In November, we are going to start adding more appointments to come and shop. Tuesday through Friday is when we're open. Right now, Tuesday and Thursday are the walk-up days. Wednesday and Friday are the appointment days. We're going to start broadening that to all days you can make an appointment, and we'll try to assist walk-up traffic as possible for people who don't have appointments. It's going to get a little more complicated, but we're going to try to let more people in with a lot of safety precautions in a limited fashion to see the yarn.
And we're probably going to take a more dedicated lunch break. So walking up during our lunch break will be like, hey,
we'll say no.
Closed.
We will help you in an hour, or we'll help you sign up for an appointment to shop another time. Yeah. So that's in November. So be ready. There's 2 calendars on our website right now. It's a little tricky, but it's so if you want to sign up for November, you have access to it. Call the shop or email us if you're confused. We would love to help you. Because technology is great, except for when it's confusing.
Pandemics are awful, and then they're confusing.
Yeah.
So,
right?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I tried to get some rest. And last public service announcement before I forget it. And then I'll go back to what I was oohing about.
This is not a thing, ever. Fingers, I got them.
She got this finger in
No,
place of my
it's
other
the
finger.
eyes. I got the eyes.
She got pinkly eyes. So part of the reason I took the break was we are going to do our sit and stitch Saturday afternoon sit and stitch, our monthly one. It's been a while since our last one. This has been over a month, but because we did September's early in the month for rescheduled local yarn store day.
Yep.
This Saturday, 24th, right?
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. Okay. 1 to 5. Come sit and stitch with us. I called it in the email I sent out this weekend. Gathering together from remote locations. Zoom meeting. Use the shop phone number 828-877-3550 as your entry code.
I will be there.
She'll be there. Or if either you don't want to do the whole publicly seen thing, or your internet does not handle Zoom well, we are also doing a Facebook Live event where you get to look at my lovely mug for 4 hours and hear everyone on Zoom and
Mostly
comment.
Me.
She's the quiet sister.
Quiet
So,
sister.
that's this Saturday. We're going to go gangbusters all afternoon, 1 to 5, because Facebook Live event will cap off at 4 hours. So those of you who find that either Zoom is difficult and challenging on Tuesdays and Fridays, which are always knit nights, or don't like the nighttime, it's 1 to 5 Eastern hours time. Eastern Daylight, Eastern Standard, whatever. East Coast time.
It's before we fall back, so.
Yeah, that's not happening till November. So
First.
Anyway, so yay, come join us and get the Liz and Rebecca show in person with only my mug if you're on Facebook. So we just got to put up with looking at me for 4 hours. Ha ha! Because I don't really feel comfortable. I could turn the camera around and put the Zoom on Facebook, but that's a little, then it's memorialized, and people who are on Zoom might feel comfortable seeing other people on Zoom, but not seeing having the whole world see them.
Well, and it'd be
I take
great
that
if we
as-
could do it at the shop and both, but then we'd both be unmasked for 4 hours.
Yeah,
it's
and
kind
that's,
of
we
so.
try to keep the unmasking for only about half an hour, 45 minutes-ish, hour at the most here in the shop, even though like we're pretty certain that we are both safe, but you don't know because of asymptomatic and exposure and who the heck knows. So we try to limit it, which is why anyone coming into the shop, you got to wear a mask. And if you're not a fan of masks, we respect that, but that means we got to help you outside. So if you sign up for an appointment, that's what my serious face on. I'm trying to move away from my serious face. We'll get to that in a second. If you sign up for an appointment, but you don't want to wear a mask, and I'm sorry, a face shield doesn't count. Face shield with a mask, great. Face shield by itself, we're probably still going to help you outside. We love you all, and we respect your choices, but you've got to respect ours to keep everybody safe. I don't know why I'm doing that a lot today, but I am.
You are wide awake and perky and
keep watching to see how long this lasts. I took a nap, even if it was short, for 3 days straight. That's why. Interrupted by my cat or Brian at certain times, but yesterday's might have been a good solid 2 hours. So, wow. Yes, I have youth and vigor on my side for a day. No, so the other thing I was like, I could work on all my projects, but then I would want to post them all. So I started knitting with yarn that I don't sell here. I never do that. So
because it was a vacation knit project.
So full disclaimer, what I'm about to show you, you cannot buy here. I'll say it again, and I'll have to explain that to all the people who want to buy it. We will put in the link where you might be able to find something like this. This is when Twist Fiber Studio visited, and I distinctly remember they were in the back hallway across the way. So this was over a year ago. When Twist Fiber Studio, who was a local hand dyer, visited a while back, they sold these little kits where she had made the bag. She makes these adorable bags. And the yarn that was paired with it was from another dyer, Rock and String Creations. And look, it matches. How cute is that? But this is yarn that will self-stripe if you make socks. So Rock and String Creations, I think Twist Fiber Studio has taken a break during the pandemic to focus on some other stuff. We love Ashley and we hope she's doing well. Rock and String Creations, I don't know Erin as well. I think it's Erin. But I'll put the link in the description if you want to see if you can get this yarn. Shout out to supporting artists, okay?
And full disclaimer, it's been a while. She might not have the yarn.
She might not have this. I think she might have some other stuff. I think she's still doing stuff, but go check it out and support her. I got 2 of them because I couldn't decide. And this one, I started making socks. And guess what? If you do nothing but knit on one project for a while and you're a fast knitter like me, you almost finish it. I almost made a pair of socks in 2 days.
She could have stopped at any given moment. She chose to knit more.
Well, okay, because here's the thing. I've really never made myself a pair of socks. I've made socks for other people in thicker yarn, usually. I've done the thinner yarn. I still have this much of the yarn left. I was like, I'll go till it's done. And I'm like, I'm not going to finish. But I started 2 at a time, toe up socks. And look, here are my cute little heels. I think I turned the heels Sunday night. And I started doing ribbing, doesn't even show up in the camera, from one of the books, which we've sold out of, I need to get more of, was recommending a knit 3 purl 1 ribbing can make it look not so much like ribbing, but still give you the elasticity. So that took a little longer than just knitting and knitting and knitting. But starting from the inside and the outside of the ball, I just have to untwist it every once in a while. I'm doing 2 at a time, toe up socks. Look how cute they are. And because I started from the inside and the outside, they are striping in opposite directions.
It's so cool.
And so I love it. I love it.
We do have some knitters who will like not be so cool about it, but
yeah, shout out to Amy D. But look how much yarn I have left. Actually, where's the scale? Do we have the scale somewhere? I want to see how much I have left because like I could be done right now because these are decently long socks, which means 1 weekend I made socks. How crazy is that? I'm knitting on US 1.5 needles because that's what I had at home so that I could find really old needles of mine.
She has half a ball left.
I almost have half the ball left. So for people who are like, is 100 gram skein? It looked like this when I started, but in the pinks and purples. Is that enough for a pair of socks? I have enough. I could probably make some ankle socks.
It all depends on your needle and your foot size because yeah, and how long you make your cuffs.
This is excuse me, I'm defrocking my feet in front of Liz. This is from a 2 at a time toe up sock pattern from my old yarn shop. Shout out to Bumbleberry Yarn and Gifts and Joe. I've modified it slightly for German short rows. But here's the cool thing. And so it's a pattern that you can't find online, but there's lots of nice patterns online. Here's the cool thing about doing 2 at a time toe up socks is you can try them on and people just have not look at my hairy legs. I don't think you all will see my hairy legs. She will. So you can try them on to A, see if they fit, and B, see if you like the
how
length.
far they are. Yeah.
So this is what I did last night. Ooh, I got a needle down there. Get out.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Watch the needles. They look so cute.
Aren't they cute? Look at that. Ah. And so I have to decide how tall I want the cuff to go. This is actually pretty decent. I could stop. I went through all this trouble. I'm going to show them off one more time.
Which means if she just leaves it around the shop, I could bind them off for her.
Maybe you're not going to do the stretchy bind up I want.
I would do an Icelandic bind off, which tends to be my go-to bind off.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna try the stretchy bind off, Jenny stretchy bind off, or a lot of people do a sewn bind off for their socks, but I think that's gonna take more time than I want. So, but I might make it a little longer because I have 47 grams left of this. How insane is that? That only like 50 or so, maybe 60 grams, if that was an overly big ball by accident. 60 grams on 1.5 needles right there.
I'm not binding them off.
I have outsorted the system. Ha! So yeah, so I focused only on me knitting for 2.5 days. I cast on the toes for this late Saturday night. It's not a race though. Don't try to be like, I'm a bad knitter if I can't make a pair of socks in 2 days. Oh, that's crazy. I did I won't say I did nothing else. I took some walks, got out of the house, did and it wasn't just like,
and truth, it's the only project you worked on. And truth be told, when you watch TV and you're knitting just in a circle, you don't even have to look at your yarn.
Nope.
And I can walk and crochet at the same time.
I was doing, the flipping and the other thing, let's see. Brian and I watched, so this is my morning meditation this morning. Brian and I watched the first Star Trek. We're starting all the Star Trek movies in order. So we watched Star Trek, the motion picture with V'ger. Way back. And I made progress on my pioneer braid scarf.
It's getting longer.
This wasn't wound yet. It is getting longer finally. I still have a lot more of this big, giant, massive ball left. And they're all stuck on other things in here. So I still have this much left. So this is gonna be for the whole scarf. And I gotta see if I can find the one-shot project. Yeah, I did put it in here. So I started a brand new hat since I saw you on Thursday. And hats go fast. I made it with Sweetie. This is a pattern that is written for, look.
I said, but you could do it in this color, a different color. And she went, no.
I want to make Sweetie. This is Borties Anemone Hat.
It looks so cute.
Oh my gosh, it's great. I have not, supposedly if you wash and dry this, because it's super wash merino with like she actually recommends putting multiple, and we honor Kat Bordy with this because she recently passed away. I think she had cancer, right? If she said you actually want to wash this with a lot and dry it with, not by itself, with a whole load of laundry, it's going to make all the tendrils here fluff up and plump up. And I found out from my sister, I'm like, this would probably be cool colors for my niece. Apparently my niece is not a hat person. She is not hat friendly. So I had to figure out something else for her for a present for Christmas time. But I'm thinking Ben and Alexander might like something like this in different colors. Anyway, it's fun. And this is not hard. These little tendrily things, not hard. But see how like the tendrils end up all different colors when you use a Lorna's Laces. It's written for Lorna's Laces worsted. When you use one that's a variegated, you get fun. What? She's
Frankenstein's
Cotillion.
Cotillion would look fantastic.
We have all of these online. There's a rainbow. I don't know if we have the rainbow one online yet, but I can check.
If you wanted a neutral anemone.
Yep, and we've got the robot overload is also kind of neutral in fall. I mean, this would be amazing. So
I am still a firm believer.
She wanted me to do the zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse would be like
awesome.
Anemone looking. And Malcolm is an older. I don't know if we have Malcolm online. Do we have Malcolm online?
We may or may not. I'll try to check.
It's not my favorite colorway.
But it'd be cool though.
Have a rainbow.
All of them will look really, really cool.
Ooh. We
left.
have one flames.
If that's not online and you want something that is really, really
it would look like a flaming hat.
Call the shop.
It would look cool.
It would look really, really neat. We've got some more muted colors.
rest
but
are
here, I got to move
memory.
these for a second because I
Sure.
want to see how much. Someone said, ooh, are there kits? And I'm like, here's our struggle with kits. When people are like, ooh, kit. It's one skein of yarn. We're not pairing colors like with the hat kit, by the way, for this, which is online. Woo! Only one more of this color until we get more of the yellow in. But this is a kit. We made a kit for this because we're pairing colors together and we're breaking up skeins of yarn to make it more affordable for you. This basically, the one I'm wearing, basically just took a whole skein of yarn. Like what I have left is on grams. I have 25 grams of 100 gram skein left. So it makes no sense to break it up. Buy the whole skein, then you have about 25 grams to do something fun with.
If you were doing the baby size, you could probably get 2 out of it.
This is the adult medium. There's an adult large. For the smaller kid sizes, you could probably get 2 out of it. There are instructions on this hat for a Mobius cast on where it does a twisty turbany looking thing along the bottom here. And I said, this is enough craziness for me. I just did, there's simple cast on. There's a simple circle rules in it. And I did the simple circle. So with only 25, this is enough to go in a Minion bag of mystery.
It is.
Perfectly. I'm probably going to give this to Liz to put in the Minion bag of mystery, which could be yours, but you won't know because it's a mystery. So, so when people ask, is there a kit? Like people asked about the scarf. Is there a kit? It's one skein of yarn. And some of them are free patterns. But there's, even with free patterns, or this one's a pay pattern, I think, there's a little bit of, it's hard to include the pattern with your kit of yarn because we want to make sure the money is going directly to the person who wrote it, which usually goes through Ravelry, not always. Or we want to make sure that the person who wrote the free blog post or something is getting the foot traffic they should on their website. So we will encourage you to get it on your own, or we'll help you get it, but then the purchase is documented differently than just shoving it in our kit. Like we would do our best to make sure that the designer is still paid. We're not going to include the kit, the pattern in the kit without paying the designer. But it's hard to prepay for those when we don't know what's going to sell. There's a whole, it's a mess.
Well, and if
my hair looks like
than,
it's old length right now. I'm sorry.
If it's more than one skein of yarn, it's easy for us to pick kits.
Then we can pair colors
because we'll pair colors for you, so you don't have to go to all that work.
And think about it. You can just go, ooh, pretty.
But if it's one skein of yarn, it kind of comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
What do you want?
We could relist all of these colors as a kit for this hat, but they're all already there. We would just say, please go to the Lorna's Laces Worsted. And marketing wise, maybe it makes more sense for you to have a focus where you're, but it's already like doing 3 full-time jobs right now to do the online shop and to try to keep everyone safe and run the shop here. And that would add more. So we will assist you, but just ask us. All right. Okay, I think.
So what else did you do this weekend?
Wasn't that enough?
Socks and a scarf and a hat.
And watch Agatha Raisin. Yeah. And that's kind of it. I went for some walks. I went for a sunset walk and I went for my regular walk on Saturday. I talked to my family. I still want to start this. This is going to be an Alaska hat. So look for that like next week, but that was considered shop knitting still. What did you do this weekend, Liz? How's that going?
I did a lot.
Yeah, she did. She listed it all.
No
that
progress.
Sounds like a lot.
Like I am on row. I call them rows, even though it's
Yeah, or I call them like stripes.
Stripes. I'm on stripe 22 in section 3. So I finally got through
one thing that
section
does the bubbles.
3, and now I'm
looking really cool.
On row 20. I call them rows. Row 20.
Keep calling them rows.
2 for that. So I did make progress on this.
Are you still hoping to get it done by Halloween?
I am still hoping to get it done by Halloween, or at least if I could get it done by next week. So when I wear my Halloween dress and filming,
your bow is getting stuck in your.
Okay, cool. I cut out and started sewing 3 skirts, a dress, and 3 pairs of pants. I finished 3 pairs of pants.
Doesn't that sound like a lot?
I pulled out an old project, the flaming hat.
It's cables and brioche.
It's cables and brioche. Here, I might just turn it inside out because it'll be easier to see with the red and black.
It's still hard to see.
It's it's reversible. So if you pick two colors,
ooh, that's cool.
Like this is the red and the black, you can reverse it and have. So it was my first.
It goes with what you're wearing.
It goes with what I'm wearing. It was my first brioche project.
And your first cabling, right?
No, I cabled before this. But I wanted a brioche project. I wanted it in the round because that's easier than flat, especially for your first. And I scrolled through a ton of projects and I was like, the flaming hat looks so cool. And I read through all of the project notes. And surprisingly, it was both first brioche and first cables for a lot of people.
That's probably what I was thinking of.
Yeah. And the scariest thing for me was the provisional cast on. Like, I wasn't scared of the brioche. I wasn't scared of the cables. I was like, Rebecca. And
you survived.
I did. And I haven't worked on it since around February of
And what happened this weekend?
So I got through almost 2 repeats of the pattern. And I slipped the stitch or something. I don't
Something happened. We're gonna figure it out.
So I had to put it down. I was tooling right along.
Oh, I won't tell you how many stitches I dropped on this that I had to.
I don't know what
at some point.
So
things are fixable.
Yeah. So
I noticed in this one, like in the yellow, and I was up here. There was one stitch that I only caught half of. Like it was thin, and the stitch next to it looked wonky because it was like
fighting off it. Yeah.
I dropped it all the way down and back up again.
She does voodoo with yarn.
One stitch, so it was like I should have taken a photo. It was great, and you can't even tell. Like I'm not even sure where it is anymore. I think it was on the side.
The row before I was fine, and then I'm tooling along, and I was like, so on Tuesday.
That's why all the stitch markers, because then you know.
This
fairly early on if you've beeped up.
Well, and the stitch markers, like every section has either a cable at the beginning of the section or a cable at the end of the section. And so
I don't know the pattern. I'm gonna have to absorb the pattern before I can help her.
It's really easy. But I put if you put the stitch markers in, that way, you know, you don't have to back out the entire hat to diagnose too, but you also know really quick if you're off. So, and I wasn't off the row before.
So we know it happened recently, hopefully. Hopefully it hasn't run away if she dropped a stitch. We'll fix it. Maybe. Hopefully. Yeah.
So, I just stopped and like, I'm not going to touch it.
Now I know what my hair would look like if I chopped it all off. Part of me is like, just keep letting it grow. Why not?
I chopped 3 inches off my hair last week.
I have not
like
touched
my
hair.
little knots are not like, this is just one twist and then clipped in, and it's like I went from here to about here hair wise, and
I have all this hair. Anyway, neither here nor there.
It's fun to chop your hair off.
It
especially
is
during a pandemic, and we wear it up and nobody knows. So
nobody knows, which is why I only every once in a while wear it down like this, because I washed it this morning and I thought it'd be curly, but it's not curly, so we'll see.
It'll get more curly if you cut off some of the weight. Like my hair straightens the longer it gets.
I'm aware of this.
Really?
I am.
Are you?
But I'm not taking it.
We could sit outside and I could cut your hair.
Because then my hair would be all over the plaza. That's happened before. Not my hair.
Who's my hair? And Amy G's hair.
But that's back when not that many people were using the plaza, and now they are.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, this was really fun. And didn't take long, and
it looks so cool.
Yeah, and I can't wait for it to fluff. I could have made the tendrils longer. The thing is, you're supposed to pull it out like 5 inches and twist, and I bet I pulled most of mine out about 4 inches. But I was having too much fun, which we could have used up most, if not all of this, if I really pulled the whole 5 inches. So it was fun. Y'all should do it. Okay.
Yeah. So
I think we should wrap it up. What?
Oh, planning on doing a weekend off, probably once a month maybe.
Yeah, Liz is telling me I should maybe once a month take the weekend off and not work on the shop, but that's hard, especially like I gotta say November. This month, October. It's been slow, and that's not anybody's fault. It's just life. But it's tough because last October was like our best month in business ever because we had just moved and there was Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair, which we get a lot of traffic from. And it's really hard to reconcile like pandemic life with comparing it to what was our best month like ever last year, which is probably why I needed the weekend off. So, yeah, be prepared for that. I might only be doing 3 tips and tricks a month if I actually try to do this, because my tips and tricks, while I really enjoy filming them for y'all, is a lot more editing work than this is. And yeah, and energy. And my Mondays get sucked up and I don't get a nap and it's bad.
I wasn't the only one advocating for.
Yeah, it's true. You can't blame it all on Liz. Brian wanted me to just shut the shop down for a week or 2, which would be good for my health. But I think we'd have rebellions on our hands, and I don't know how to keep the shop going if we didn't have anything happening for 2 weeks. So, yeah. Anyway, and I've heard from many people who are very supportive of me taking time off. So thank you.
It was a good. We didn't even talk that much.
Like, no, I didn't even talk to her that much. It just kind of cocooned. So, yeah, so thank you all for supporting me in that, because believe it or not, even though we're only here 4 days a week and it's weirdness on what happens each day, we're working our butts off most of the time. So anyway, coffee outside is wrapping up too. I think it's time for us to go to get ready for potential Vikings.
Yeah,
okay, 2 things, 2 more PSAs. Speaking of Vikings, I want to work on we mentioned that last week. But then I took the weekend off, so I haven't done my little Viking sketch yet. When I make it, I'll show it to you. And my graphic designer might help and tweak. We'll see. Or the Lindsay, shout out to Lindsay, who I work with as a graphic designer, might have some awesome ideas to shift it. And speaking of SAF, so the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair is this awesome thing that usually happens by the Asheville airport. It would have been this weekend when we're having our sit and stitch. If I just noticed on Instagram today, if you go to, they started a Facebook page called Miss SAF, I think, as in missing, MISS SAF, SAFF, I think. The vendors from SAF are trying to do a virtual show this weekend. So like I said, this episode is a little bit about supporting artists or supporting things we don't have here in the shop. We want you to support us too, if you can. Everybody wants to survive right now, and thrive and all that. Yay. But I will try to see what I can dig up to put in the comments about virtual SAF happening this weekend. Some of the vendors that would have been at SAF are going to try a virtual show. So check them out. I know it's not the same as feeling stuff in person, but if you can support them, that would be great. So,
well, and if they're vendors that you've regularly,
then you know their stuff.
Know their stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I know the 2 years that I've been there, I hit pretty much the same booths over and over.
And we usually hit booths so we can bring stuff into the shop. So I might take a look at them this weekend and try to reach out to a few of them to say, can I bring some stuff into the shop if you don't sell it during the SAF weekend? That's usually what I do in person. We'll see. So anyway, happy Tuesday to everybody, the beginning of our week. Yay! And here's hoping the week goes well.
Tonight is Sit and Stitch.
Yes. 6 to 9 p.m.
Tomorrow is the most dangerous show of our week.
Yeah, we need to figure out what we're going to try to sell you tomorrow. It could be new stuff. It could be old stuff, but it will be on sale for the week once we advertise it. So
Thursday is Dear Becky and Lizzy. We got a letter Thursday after we filmed.
Yeah. So we have at least one thing on the docket for this week.
So that's why we didn't read your letter last week. We got it.
Someone's like, but I wrote you something. We didn't get it until after.
We got it after we filmed.
And hopefully Liz hasn't lost. Oh, I see it. I see it. Okay. The table becomes a hot mess when we shop and when we film. So I didn't know.
And then Thursday is Dear Becky and Lizzy.
Mhm.
If you want to write us a letter, you can write us a letter at Dear Becky and Lizzy,
35 South Broad Street.
Sun-
Oh, Sun Dragon Art and Fiber.
We don't know our address, or we do.
I do. I just say it out of order.
Sun Dragon Art and Fiber,
35 South Broad Street.
Brevard, North Carolina, 28712. Which now I know that zip code better than my own, so it's kind of sad.
It's going to be problematic if she has to write return addresses on her own stuff.
Yes.
Anyway, we have several things we're going to have to put return addresses on because people
we
bought
have
stuff over the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need an answer on Thursday morning, email me.
Email Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com, all spelled out. sundragonartandfiber.com. Yeah, I've gotten really good at spelling it out for like telemarketers and stuff. All right, I'm gonna hang up on this so we can do our day. Which
ding the bell.
The bell's
subscribe.
at home. Yeah. Oh, that. Never mind.
Yeah.
Please subscribe. My tips and tricks is going to overtake the sideshow pretty soon. My tips and tricks is almost at 300. And so let's keep the sideshow going to outpace it just a little bit. So, because we're at like 410 right now or something. So anyway, share it with people you think would enjoy it and want to say, hey, I watch you all the time when we go vote. That's really funny. Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good Tuesday or whatever day you're watching this.